Welcome to episode 13 of Find Your Success. Welcome back. I can't believe that we've made it this far, and it's only just beginning. We've got another fantastic human being sitting down with us today, and we're blessed to be in his office. We've got David Roybal of Vertical Real Estate.
What's up, brother?
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Of course. You've been here a couple times already.
I have.
We've done a couple things together, and we've been wanting really badly to do this. We talk to each other every day at the gym, and we are finally here, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're happy because I'm happy too. And I did want to touch on something real quick. Speaking of the gym,
Yeah.
you know, you're obviously in real estate. I'm in home insurance. They overlap a little
Sure.
bit. And funny enough, we didn't really get to know each other really just through the industry.
Right.
In my opinion, we got to know each other through the gym.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for those out there looking to love on people, to network, to get to know people, the gym's not necessarily the place to have, big conversations, but if you're looking for a place to show up and to put in hard work
Right.
with other people that you can respect, I would think that the gym isn't such a bad place.
Well, it's funny because the gym is like its own little community, right? You end up seeing people and meeting people that are not inside the industry. But if somebody's waking up every single day and they're at the gym 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that shows consistency, right?
Mm.
Consistency in what they want to do, consistency in their life, consistency on how they want to look. So yeah, I mean, I've met some really awesome people through the gym. I've met some really cool clients through the gym, some really cool friends through the gym. So yeah, gym's a big part of my life.
Yeah, I love that. It has always been funny to me, so I really appreciate that aspect of our relationship. And again, some people laugh or will joke around about having too many conversations, or I'll make fun of some people who are sitting there texting away or whatever, and there's a line to be drawn, but for the sake of high quality community, the gym really is a good place to be. So if you're looking for that, just as an entrepreneur, as a human looking to connect, it's a good place to start if you haven't gotten into the networking space just yet.
For sure.
Yeah. So thanks for that opportunity, and
Yeah.
it's always been a pleasure to see you at the gym.
Yeah,
Lifting those heavy weights.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I go through cycles. In the winter, I am in the best shape because I'm bored. In the summer, you get a little bit more loose, you get a little more flexible, but that's when you're showing off all your hard work, and sometimes it's just, it's a little opposite for me.
It's all good as long as you're feeling good. Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good.
I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling good. I've gone now almost 9 months without any alcohol or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay focused. I'm just trying to stay clear-headed, and I'm always trying to challenge myself. So that's good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And I think it's a big reason why you've been so successful in the real estate business. But before we get there, I wanted to dive in a little deeper into who you are and where you're from. Where are you from?
Actually, I grew up I'm from Santa Fe. So I was born in Santa Fe, and then I actually grew up in the Santa Cruz area up in Espanola.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the hustlers, especially in real estate, they're coming from up north, man. Joe Maez, David Roybal.
Yeah.
I think Elias might be from Santa Fe. A lot of the guys who are hustling like crazy nowadays in the business, they're all from up north. But grew up kind of in the Espanola area, moved back to Santa Fe once I got to middle school, and lived in Santa Fe, moved to Arizona for a little while, moved to Las Cruces for a little while, and then moved to Albuquerque, and been here ever since, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've moved around a little bit.
I moved around a little bit, and I grew up really, really fast. It's crazy. My son, he just turned 16, and by the time I was 15, I had already moved out of my home, and I have already been on my own since then.
Dang.
So I grew up really fast. I grew up loving parents, amazing parents. They're great, but they were not the type of people that were going to be able to give me the things that I wanted at that point, right? If I wanted to get a car, I had to work. I had to get a car. If I wanted to get things, right, I had to work. So I had to work very quickly, and I grew up really fast. So that's a good thing, but it's also something that, as I'm looking at my kids now, I'm like, dude, enjoy the ride, man. enjoy the ride, because once you grow up, you're going to work for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Dang, that's a big conversation.
Yeah. So it's been interesting. My life has been fast-paced. It's been good, but I feel very blessed that I get the opportunity to do what I do every day, because it doesn't really feel to me like it's, it doesn't really
Like
feel
work?
to me like it's work. Yeah. I mean, at times it's tough. We're talking a little bit off camera about what the reality of real estate really is, right? And it's it's not sexy like everybody thinks it is. It's not the $1 million shows that are on all of the networks these days, right? We sell real estate in Albuquerque, so it's a hustle, it's a grind, but it's something that I absolutely love, and it's my passion for sure.
Dang, that's awesome to hear, and that brings up a lot of questions. But I got to go back. So, as being from up north,
Sure.
I mean, what do you think about northern New Mexico turned you into the hustler that you are?
Honestly, man, I just think that watching my mom and watching my dad work, right? That's one thing that I learned from my parents, is that they just always had to have a job. They just always had to work in order for them to be able to provide. So I got that mindset. I was always an athlete, so I was very competitive as a kid. Played a lot of baseball, played a lot of basketball, played some football, but I was always super competitive. And so I think seeing my parents working all the time, being in sports, trying to be the best, I got the hustle, but I also got the focus of knowing what you have to do in order to work, right? Yeah. So I just think that it was that kind of mindset and that kind of mentality as I was growing up to be able to turn it into what I wanted. I knew that I knew how to work. That was easy. I had always had jobs where I knew I had to work. I was always the guy on the other side. I started real estate when I was 22 years old. So I was always the guy on the other side trying to figure out, hey, what can I do to maybe get a raise? What can I do to get a higher position? What can I do to have more opportunity? And so this job now is very fitting for what I had when I was a kid, the mindset that I had, because now that mindset is the same way, right? Like, hey, there is nobody telling me that I can't sell X amount of homes or make X amount of money or teach X amount of people the process of what it looks like to become successful, right? And so I think that's one of the cool things about the type of business that we are in, is that there isn't anybody telling you that you can't make it, you can't do it, right? And so that's one of the things I think that's really important about being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, is that it's all based off of how much time and energy and effort you put into your craft in order for you to basically paint that picture of what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Getting down to ultimately actually helping people.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? It's like, real estate is not necessarily, going to be rewarding all the time. Sometimes you're dealing with people's feelings. They're very high. You're dealing with people's emotions, right? But at the end of the day, you're dealing with their money. And it's the biggest investment that most people are going to make in their entire life. And a lot of the times, the transactions aren't, oh my gosh, I'm having a baby and I'm getting married and I want to buy my first home, right? Sometimes people are going through a divorce. Sometimes people lost their jobs. Sometimes mom died and there's 4 or 5 people trying to get money from the estate, and not everybody's on the same page, right? Family's
that's a good
family's wild.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, every situation is very different. So you have to be that person, especially in real estate, that can guide somebody in the right direction. And remember that, it is a people game. It's a contact sport, but it is a people business. I always tell people, I am in the people business. I just happen to sell real estate, but I'm in the people game. And if I can take care of people, it's on.
It really is that simple.
Right.
Right? I mean, you're rewarded for helping people.
Sure.
There's some trade going on there, right? You give them something, they're giving you something, and it can work out. And it doesn't mean it's always easy, but you're working with people, you're solving problems for people, not solving problems that mean nothing to no one. You brought up being a hard worker and how it's easy for you. And I grew up with hardworking parents
Sure.
that really would get on me when I was slacking, and I think that that's served me well now, looking back. But looking at society and the way society nowadays seems to look at working hard, it's kind of funny sometimes, right?
Right.
That image of being a hard worker seems to have changed a little bit, but
Well, you got all this different energy in social media, right?
Yeah.
So you have one person saying one thing, you have another person saying another thing. You have some people saying, don't be a homeowner, rent a home. Then you have some people saying, be a homeowner, never rent. Like, it's just so weird. It depends really on who you're aligning with, right? And what their vision is for success, or their vision is for what their platform basically is going to spell out for how they want to live their life. So I think at the end of the day, right, you got to be yourself. You got to do you, right?
Yep.
And who gives a shit what anybody else thinks about you, right?
Yeah.
When you get to that point in life, I know you and I follow a lot of the same people in like social media and things like that. So we align a lot in that way. I think that's how we connected pretty quick, right? But there's a lot of people in that space that don't care what people think about them, right? And those are the guys that are paving the way, and those are the guys that are the disruptors, right? And those are the guys and gals, right? There are some women, but those are the people that are really the most confident in themselves, because they don't really care what other people think about them. And I've gotten to that point, and it feels really good, because nobody is going to write my own story. I'm going to do it myself, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. And if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I love you. Cool. You can say hello to each other. We can hang out, whatever. But I'm going to do me, because that's the reality of how my life is these days.
I love that.
Yeah.
And society teaches us to be all of these different types of personalities and people, right? At least from my experience looking at social media, I've seen my friends even aspire to be somebody else.
Right.
Instead of taking maybe the best advice from someone and incorporating it into who they are, and not abandoning who they are, but embracing who God made them to be.
Sure.
And trusting in that. And when you talk about trusting in it, it's a difficult thing to do, to show up and to be confident, to love on people well, to serve people well, and to not get spun out by what people think. Because as you've seen, everyone has an opinion.
Right.
Some are better than others. But for us to rely on those opinions to dictate how we feel, let alone dictate our actions, it's an interesting conversation.
Well, it really is, I have teenage kids, so I see them, trying to keep up with this person and that person and wanting to fit in and wanting all of those things. And I also remember that at that age, we were basically doing the same thing, right? We wanted our friends, and we wanted our circle, and we wanted people to like us, and we wanted to not do anything too crazy to get called out, or whatever the thing may be, right? And so I think that a lot of people still continue to do that now, right? But as you get older, you either get to a point where you're like, this is who I am, it is what it is, or you stay following that path of wanting to be like someone else, or be that person, and you emulate them and things like that, right? But I think that you just got to get to the point where you're just comfortable in your own skin. Yeah. And I'm super comfortable in my skin now, and it feels really, really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. That's a really
man.
good thing to hear, and I hope people pick up on that and really take that advice wholeheartedly, because there's a lot of freedom in it. The pressure's off.
Right.
Ultimately, right? There's big things going on, and we're blessed with big opportunities and fun things to do. Even if the big opportunity is just loving your spouse, right?
Sure.
Or showing up for your kids, or taking care of something at the house, like whatever that big opportunity is, for you to be a great example of how to embrace yourself while facing those things is just pretty cool.
Well, and you ought to also think about, like, as you get older and as you grow up, your why, my why, for what I'm doing right now has changed so much, right? It's changed so much. And some of my friends lately have been like, dude, you haven't been hanging out. You haven't been like doing anything. Well, I have a 13-year-old and I have a 16-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. Like, if you set the right example for your kids, especially at that age right now, then you're really making sure that they are going in the right direction. Because this is where, I remember when I was 16, I was already out on my own. I was already away from my parents. Like, my son just turned 16 years old. And I'm just like, man, I can't even imagine Elijah being out on his own right now. I'm barely teaching this guy how to drive, and just got him his first car. And for me to have already thought back that I was already out on my own at that time is just wild. So I'm trying my best to focus on the kids right now, man.
Well, that's awesome. And maybe that's a good segue into, well, we've touched on it, and I'm sure a lot of people who are listening know what you do, but if you could touch on what you do,
Sure.
Kind of give an overview of that in the business sense, and then we can kind of talk about what success is to you, including especially your kids and your family
Sure.
and all the other realms. So what do you do?
So
exactly?
I sell real estate, man. I've been selling real estate now for 23 years. Now in May will be my 23rd year in the business. And I started real estate when I was 22 years old. And I now have a team. So I was a big Coldwell Banker guy for many years. I was an individual agent for 14 years of my career first. So it was just me and like an assistant, right? And so my goal was just to build the business out, right? Love those guys at Coldwell Banker, just kind of outgrew the model there, started to want to run a team, started to want to scale a team, started to want to think bigger. So came to Keller Williams, been at Keller Williams now for 8 years, and it's been great. It's been really cool. Gotten to a point now in my career where I have my own office. You're here. You've seen it. We've been
great.
in here now for a couple years.
Yeah.
So we have our own office. We have our own, basically our own model, right? So we're running our own team, very similar to like a brokerage, where we have a transaction team. We have a lender that offices out of our office. We have basically built out an entire organization. And so for me now, our goal is to continue to scale with the right people, right? Our vision for what we want isn't to have 30 or 40, agents on our team selling one home. We want a good solid 10 agents selling 3 to 5 homes. Delilah and I have created Vertical. So it's our organization. Delilah is my fiance. You've met Delilah before.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And so our vision is much bigger than just selling real estate now, because we want to change the lives of our agents and the people that are around us. Because if we can do that for them, we're going to continue to have a successful path in the real estate business, and we're going to continue to help people grow and grow their life, not just grow their money tree, right? Because a lot of people get into real estate and think it's just about the money. If you think like that, it's going to be very, very hard for you to actually feel the rewards of it, right? Money is a big aspect. This is our job. Obviously, we're not doing this for free or for fun. We talked a little bit about that, right? Real estate is not fun. It's rewarding, right? But it's not fun. It's very, very hard. And you have a lot of friends in the business. You have a lot of people on this podcast that are in real estate, right? Real estate is a grind. It's a hustle. It is something that you have to do consistently every single day, right? And if you don't do that, then you're not really ever going to move the needle. And for us at Vertical, we're always trying to say, hey, okay, what's next? What level can we get to? How can we get there? And we've had a lot of roadblocks. We've had a lot of things that haven't worked for us. But we're the kind of group that is going to just keep trying, dude. Keep trying, keep trying.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, because that's kind of the way life is.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
That, we have a vision. We have something that we're called to. Roadblocks show up. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
And it turns out that most often the roadblock is the way.
Sure.
It's the raw material for success.
Sure.
Ultimately, so embracing those, and I love that you guys are embracing those roadblocks and pursuing what you're called to.
We've messed up a bunch of times, man. I think the difference between a good leader and a great leader is that when you make the wrong choices, that you own up to it, right? You're vulnerable with your team. You're vulnerable with your organization. You're very vulnerable with your kids. You're very vulnerable with everybody that's around you, right? And say, hey, my bad. I made the wrong choice. Hey, I'm sorry. We went this route. It didn't work, right? But we're going to work towards a better solution. And so that's the thing. I think that sometimes as leaders, they blame other people. I've messed up a bunch of times. I've tried a bunch of shit that hasn't worked. But the things that have worked, we've learned from it, and we've continued to make that work for us, and we're learning how to scale that right now. So that's good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Embracing the vulnerability,
Yeah,
especially in a leadership role,
for sure.
right? Showing that you're human.
For
right?
sure.
We're not
You know,
we're robots.
We're messing up all the time, you know?
Yeah.
You got to learn from it.
That is such a fun conversation because whether we like it or not, failure happens, and really the only way that you lose is if you quit.
Sure.
Right? It's like one of those quotes, you either win or you learn. I think it's a great thing to live by, right?
Yeah.
Is you take your mistakes and the things that didn't go the way that you liked and learn from them, collect the data,
Yeah.
right? Analyze the data, make better strategies for the future, execute those strategies even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's a key component that people run from.
For sure, man. We got into a whole nother business last year outside of real estate that just didn't work for us, right? And we lost a bunch of time. We lost money. We lost focus on what the big picture was. But something like that, dramatic, had to happen in order for us to get us back in alignment with what's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
There's always that one thing that you need to be focusing on that's going to help you grow the most, right? That could be your faith, that could be your gym, that could be your kids, that could
Yeah.
be your business, whatever you want that to be, right? But when you make the wrong choices and you see, okay, that didn't work, if you continue to keep dwelling on that and you can't pivot from that, then that's where people get stuck. And then that's where people live in the past, right? And then that's where people will continue to talk about their failures because they tried something that didn't work. We tried something last year that didn't work, you know? But guess what? We're back, and we learned from it, and we don't have a choice. We got to keep moving. We got to keep pushing, and that's the reality of how I operate and kind of how I think, is we just got to keep pushing.
Yeah, cut your losses.
For
right?
sure.
Take it for what it is and keep rolling.
Right.
Right. That's kind of why, like in the stock market, when people get excited about a certain product or stock, and it starts to tank, they hold on to it way longer, even though there's better opportunities, because they're married to the wrong aspect of it.
For sure.
Right? They're forgetting what they're actually trying to get closer to.
For sure.
And for you guys to embrace an experience like that, to have this kind of wake up call and to remember what's important to you, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories like that because it kind of acts like a slingshot, and people are going through this every single day, but they don't know how to handle it. They let it mess with their identity.
Right.
Right? They tear themselves apart. They dwell on it.
Right.
Far too long and far too harsh. But for you to be able to pivot and to move forward with your team and to genuinely be happy and motivated and inspired, it says a lot.
Yeah, it's hard, you know.
Not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But you got to do what you got to do. So
gotta do
we're
what you gotta
back,
do.
and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It's awesome. And this office is awesome.
Thank you,
So,
Beth.
yeah, it's
Thank you,
it's
man.
really beautiful.
We've worked a lot at this to build it out, right? We know that this is just the beginning of what we're launching, and we just know that we want the right people. We want to align with people, and that's our biggest thing. So, you know, there's a lot of people that watch this that are in real estate or want to get into real estate. Like, we're always building our bench. We're always looking for people. So if there's anybody out there that's looking for an opportunity inside of real estate, you know, keep us in mind. Reach out to me. I love the opportunity to talk to you guys and kind of figure out if we would be a good match or a good fit.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend that people reach out to you
Yeah.
and have a conversation, because I know that you're open to it. You kind of mentioned that you just touched on how you're building something.
Right.
Would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure.
Of kind of where you believe you're going, where you've been called?
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, I have gotten myself out of the hustler role. For many, many, many years, I was the hustler, right? So my focus is now shifting into the CEO. So I am not pounding the streets every single day like I normally was, selling 8 homes, 10 homes a month, like I was for many, many years, right? What we're trying to build is we're trying to build an organization where we can actually have a self-sustaining, self-running business where if Delilah and I go on a vacation, if Delilah and I want to do expansion, go into a different city, right? That Albuquerque is running and it's functioning the way that it needs to be at the level that it is now or higher. So we're really in that building phase of building a business out for it to be sustainable, and we're trying to get to what's called a 7th level inside of our business, and it's tough. It's really tough, but yeah, big ego check, right? I'm not selling all the houses anymore. I'm really trying to get my my team to do it, and it's been fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. The ego
Yeah.
check, man, it takes a lot of honesty to embrace that and to walk through it.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the only way you're going to grow, right? If I wanted to just sell real estate for the rest of my life, I could, right? It would be amazing. It would be fun, and it would be something that I've done for the last 23 years, so it wouldn't be that
familiar
hard,
with it, yeah.
right? But I want, success to come through my people. That's what makes me happy nowadays, is pouring into people and them being successful. If you notice people who have been inside of my organization, we were talking about this before, right? You got like a 2 to 4, 5 year kind of window with a lot of people because they want to jump on the team, they want to learn, they want to get motivated, they want to get a taste of success, and then some people will, go out on their own, get out of the business because they realized it wasn't for them, right? But you got to always be building your bench. But if you have a system, the right system and the right models in place for people to grow, they will stay. My world, Delilah and I's world, Vertical's world, has to stay so big that people have to build their world inside of our world. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's great. It's fun, and I'll say, like, the people that I've looked up to personally have offered a similar situation for me, where they were blessed with the vision that allowed me to operate within it,
Sure.
and to be inspired, to be entrepreneurial, to be myself,
Sure.
to be flexible, to be rigid when I had to, but ultimately to just grow tremendously. And those have been some of the biggest blessings of my entire life, and at least in my opinion, I think it's a great opportunity for anyone that in the past has gotten to come through what you've built to grow and to learn and to embrace it for as long as they're called to it. And then if they're called to something next, to be able to take those lessons and run with it.
Yeah, for sure.
It really is a massive success, especially considering that that's a focus of yours, is building up leaders. So what makes David successful today? Like, how do you know you're successful?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of things that has built me up to where I feel like I'm successful, right? In the beginning of my career, I wanted so badly to be recognized and be known, and I know how a lot of these newer agents are feeling right now, right? And so for me, I had to prove to everybody that I can be successful based off of production, right? So I just had to I had to put my head down, had to sell a bunch of houses. That's how I got recognized. And that's how you create a seat at the table, especially if you're newer in the business, right? You just got to hustle. There is no magic pill, right? You can jump on the number one team and feel like you're part of a bigger organization, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to prove to yourself and to others that you can actually do it, right? So success for me over the years has changed quite a bit. But for me now, success is helping other people get what they want, right? Whether it's my kids, whether it's Delilah, whether it's people inside of our company. I want people to feel like there is a bigger vision or a bigger piece for them to look for. And so success for me is getting my people to become successful. I want to change people's lives, right? Because it's not about money to me, I promise. I wake up every single day and I do what I do, not looking at the paycheck or not looking at the dollar amount. I look at the opportunities. And if I take care of people, then my phone's going to never stop ringing. The referrals, the opportunities are never going to stop coming. And so that's what success is to me right now, is just making sure that I can help other people get what they want. Because if I can help you get what you want, then I'm going to keep getting what I want, right?
Yeah, we've heard that one before.
So that's really what I love, and that's really what's most important to me right now. And it might change, right?
Of course.
Success.
Yeah.
The word success has changed a bunch to me, right?
Yep.
Being a young kid to being, where I'm at now, like it's going to change, and it should change, and we would want different things in different parts of our life. So that's what success means to me right now.
Yeah, I love that. That is great. That is great. And for you to be in a sales position and to lead, a sales-based company, when it comes to pressure and like ease of sales,
right,
to walk into situations and not be strung out, it's so much easier when you can walk in and not need to have a certain outcome happen, right? To not need to make the money,
right,
but to love on people. And this even goes outside of real estate. When you're hanging out with all of your friends in all of the different industries and you hear of some unique thing or idea, you could just sit back and connect the pieces and introduce people. And that's a really fun thing to do. And the way that you position yourself, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a connector for sure, right? I am the type of person that I like to connect people with people. I like to collaborate with people, right? We are in an office right now with people who are not just part of Keller Williams. We have people inside of our office that are part of different real estate companies. We have different people in our office that are not part of my team, right? We have an insurance person in here. We have a mortgage person in here, right? I want to be collaborative with everybody. And that's what's really most important to me, is that I'm not just, hey, if you ain't with me, you can't hang out with me, you can't play with me. That's not how I operate. And I think that's why I'm also, successful in town and in business, is because I think like that. I don't just, hey, you're with me or you're not, right? I wanna help everybody. I wanna collaborate with everybody.
Yeah, that's fun. We need people like that, especially just in this world, but especially in Albuquerque. So there's just a few more things that I'd like to talk about. But the first one, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom, immediate words of wisdom for people out there that might be watching?
I mean, I always tell people, you know what? Especially we'll kind of keep this in kind of the real estate realm, right? Is take care of people. That's the biggest thing. Is that if you take care of people, then no matter what, you're going to be taken care of, right? Be honest with people, shoot people straight. Everybody has that little bullshit meter in them, right? You can
especially now with social media.
Dude, you can tell when someone's lying. You can tell when someone's not being honest, right? Be honest, be straight up with people, and I think at the end of the day, you're going to get what you want out of it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's rock solid stuff.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I do want to shout out Jonathan real quick. Something we do every episode. He's got a huge head at this point. But without him, none of this would be possible. So I always got to shout him out. I'm very grateful for him as a human and his work and all the stuff that he's doing on the side. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, good job, bro.
So, yeah, thank you, bro. One of these days we'll get him on camera, but he's shy.
Yeah, we got to get him to be on episode 14, man.
We've been working on it. We've been having conversations. So, hopefully here soon he'll be on one of these next ones.
Sweet, bro.
But how can we help you? How can the people watching support you and help you?
Like I said, if there's anybody out there that may be interested in real estate, if there's anybody out there who has been in real estate now for 3-4 years, maybe they're feeling stuck, maybe they're feeling like they don't have their tribe. Maybe they haven't found their tribe yet, or maybe they just want to scale and grow even bigger. Reach out to me because I'm always looking for people, and that would be something that I would just really appreciate through any of your through your networks and
Yeah,
stuff like
of
that.
course.
Like, hey man, keep me in mind.
Okay.
And if there's anybody thinking about making a move, selling a house, buying a house, reach out to us because we can definitely help you as well.
Yeah, right on, right on. How can they find you?
Well, you can
the
find me
best
on
way?
all socials, Instagram, 1D Roybal, Facebook, just David Roybal, and then Vertical Real Estate is our business page on both Facebook and Instagram.
Right on, right on. Do people come into the office? Is that a thing? Do you guys bring people here?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, we do masterminds here. We do things here. Today is a quiet day because we knew we were going to do it here, so it's kind of quiet over here. But after 11:30, everyone's rolling.
Wyoming and Comanche?
Yep, Wyoming and Comanche, 3530 Wyoming Vertical Real Estate. It's across from. I always use Pokey Pokey as a reference.
So do I. I love that place. All right. Well, very last thing. Thank you for your contribution. Welcome to the club.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you so much, and this has been fun. And I really, really hope that we can do it again.
Yeah, I agree. I look forward to doing it again, and I appreciate your generosity and your time hanging out with us. It's been appreciated. Well, I think that's it. Episode number 13 of Find Your Success. Thanks for hanging out once again, and thanks for all of your support. It wouldn't be possible without you either. If you have any questions or comments or any potential guests that you want us to hang out with, send them our way. We're listening. Good to see you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, man.
David, thanks.
Appreciate you, brother.